Good evening, everyone. This is Robin Heron, your carnivorous grandma here. Welcome back to the next episode of Carnivorous Grandma Speaks, Women of Wisdom series. I'm very excited to have with me tonight Delandria Mills. But before I introduce her, I'm going to go ahead and read my scripture for this series. And it is Proverbs 14:1, and it says, "Every wise woman builds her house, but the foolish plucketh it down with her hands." And of course, I always say that we women, when we choose a lifestyle that is better for our bodies, then I feel like this resonates with me as a woman that builds her house. So my friend Delandria here is a fellow carnivore. I'm very excited to have her. I'm going to read her bio because she's fancy, y'all. All right. So it says multi-genre flutist, educator, and author. Delandria Mills is a native of Houston, Texas. She's a graduate of Houston's High School for the Performing and Visual Arts, Prairie View, and A&M University, and earned both her master's in classical flute and graduate performance diploma in jazz studies from the Peabody Conservatory of Music in Baltimore, where she now teaches in the preparatory department. In addition to the Peabody Institute, she teaches for Baltimore City Schools and is associate flute professor at Morgan State University. Mills is the founder of Kingdom Flute Works, an intensive summer program which is held annually since 2009. She has won national as well as international competitions and has 9 recordings of her own. Mills' literary works are a 2-book series, Demi's Flute, Discovering Notes and Sounds, picture books for young readers, and a young adult fiction novel series entitled Demi's Flute, Entering the Realm of Sound. Welcome to Carnivorous Grandma Speaks, Delandria. We're so happy to have you here tonight.
Excellent. Thank you for having me.
Yes, very, very awesome. I am so excited because you and I had an opportunity to meet at the carnivore meetup in Chicago, which was so cool. Go ahead and tell a little bit about that.
There was no way I was going to miss it. So I know Carrie Mann gives a lot of honor to the people that inspired him to do the carnivore diet, and I've been listening to him. And when he announced that he was going to be in Chicago to do a meetup on 11/11, that just resonated with me. I was like, I have to be there. So I just made arrangements in my schedule, booked the flight. I didn't even book the hotel. I'm so busy with my teaching schedule, and just being mom and being musician, just a day in the life, you know. I was like, I'm going to book this ticket. I'll figure out the rest when I get there. And that's exactly what I did. And when I walked in,
so amazing.
It's crazy because I was so starstruck. I was watching all of the videos. And as soon as I walk into the hotel, the first persons I see, Carrie, Emma, Alyssa, and Adam. And I was like, this is it was just standing there, and I was like, forgive me, I'm a little starstruck. I know you are. You don't know who I am. But it just felt like it was destined. This has been a lifestyle change that was so necessary for me. And hearing that announcement, booking a flight, seeing them as soon as I arrived, I was like, yeah, this is where I need to be. This is what I need to be doing.
That is awesome. So you flew in from where? Where are you
Baltimore.
Located?
I'm originally from Texas. But yeah, I reside and teach, and as often as I can get out and do some performing in Baltimore and in the greater DMV area. But yes, I teach at Morgan State, I teach at Baltimore City Schools, and I teach for the Peabody Institute's preparatory department. And I went to grad school at Peabody to study classical and jazz flute. And now I teach there to community members, young and older alike, who wish to, explore their flute playing skills. So I love it. I love all that I do. It's just a lot.
That is amazing. If when my mom listens to this, she's probably gonna want to get a hold of you because she'll probably want to learn flute next.
I get it. I totally get it.
She plays a variety of instruments. She's learning a variety of instruments. So she plays piano, she plays like a saxophone.
Awesome.
So I'm sure she'll want to play flute next. So
yeah, I come across a lot
cool.
of older adults who played when they were younger and wish they never stopped, or some older adults who simply want to take on some new hobbies. So I tell them, bring it on, let's do it.
All right. So I'm going to just say hello to a couple people who are in the chat here. We have Brenda. Hi, Brenda. Good evening from Kentucky. Nice to have you here. And then we have Felicia. This is Felicia.
Hi,
Greetings,
Felicia.
Queens. Hey, Felicia. Thank you for being here. And then Brenda says, since a child, I always loved A&M school colors.
Fantastic.
Okay. Awesome. And then Jay, hey Jay, thanks for being here tonight. We really do appreciate you. Thanks for being here. So I'm just gonna have you introduce yourself and talk a little bit about your journey and how you ended up at a carnivore lifestyle.
Okay, so I've always been one to take my health seriously. I toured with a gospel group in the early 2000s, and I would be that one. As soon as we get off the tour bus where everybody is making a beeline to Denny's, McDonald's, I was going to the grocery store, stocking up on bell pepper and celery so I could have my crunchy, healthy snacks,
Yeah.
But where I also went wrong at that time is I was buying a lot of bread. So I would also get if we were stocking up, I would get a lot of processed meats and whatnot. And I really thought that I was doing the right thing. Eating multigrain bread. I mean, that was my go-to. And lots of pasta, lots of rice, but I was just doing what I could to burn it all off. So I was in the gym 6 days a week, 2 hours a day. Like after I gave birth, 3 months after giving birth, I was back in the gym 6 days a week, 2 to 3 hours a day. Put my son in childcare so I could really do my best to keep myself healthy. But I definitely felt like I was climbing uphill. It was such a struggle. And then years go by, and like I say, I have a very full teaching schedule, and I was exhausted. I mean, painfully exhausted, cranky, angry, depressed. Now, mind you, I was eating light. As my dad said, I was eating like a bird. Most days I had a salad. I wouldn't even bother with a bowl. I would just buy bags of salad, pour a little bit of balsamic vinaigrette, maybe some salt and pepper, a couple boiled eggs, shake it up in the bag, and that was my lunch every day, just cutting it open. Yet the pain that I was experiencing in my joints was unbearable. I was limping around. I got MRIs. I was told I needed surgery in both hips. The inflammation was it was just doing me in. It was hard to get out of bed. It was hard to get out of my car. And then I felt so, I remember one morning waking up thinking, my parents are in their 70s. How much more are they suffering right now? I thought it literally just had to do with age. And I felt sad for older people everywhere because I just thought it's going to go downhill from here. And then finally, a revelation came to me after seeing one of Carrie's videos. And I also have to admit, I was buying broccoli, like bags of broccoli in bulk. And if I was just starving at the end of the day, understandably so, because I was only having a salad, and I would have a large coffee full of creamer every morning. But at night, after 6 o'clock, if I was just ravenous, I just had to have something to eat. I usually had 2 bags of broccoli, steamed broccoli. So I didn't understand why I was gaining weight. I stopped buying bread after a while. Maybe I would treat myself to a waffle when I would make some for my son on a Saturday morning or something. But the pain was just getting worse and worse. And when the doctors told me I needed to have surgery on both hips, I got a second opinion because a dear friend of mine is also a physical therapist. I had him look over the notes, and he was like, yeah, Dee, this has to happen. So I was
What was
devastated.
the diagnosis?
Oh, I wish I could tell you exactly, Robin. I know that they saw a little bit of arthritic growth. So I guess it was just inflammation that, and I'm not at all a doctor, but
Mm-hmm.
whatever the jargon was, whatever the verbiage that was used, the conclusion was they have to go in and do something with the bone. No
Oh,
idea.
wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
Um, so the one word that I use that I think is the right word to use was just inflammation. I had
Mm-hmm.
inflammation. It was my hips, it was a little bit in my knees, but because of the pain that I felt in my hips, I just felt miserable all over, you know. And I felt like my extremities were extra heavy. I just felt
Mm-hmm.
heavy. And mind you, I've lost 27 pounds since starting the carnivore diet, so that helped a lot. But then also the joint pain just was gone. But then I would say 2 at the most 3 weeks. And I just felt like, wow, I've been bamboozled. We've all been bamboozled, you know. And I was thinking to,
Yeah.
look at pictures of my family members from the 60s and 70s and 70s. I'll stop right there. Everyone was thin.
Mm-hmm.
Everyone have a natural, healthy glow. But a lot of my family kind of came out of Louisiana living farm life and eating off the farm or eating off
Right.
off their land, off the chickens and their cattle and whatnot. And then when you get to the 80s, everyone is pleasantly plump. And they're working out. My mom and her sister, my aunt, they would load us kids up into the car, and we would go to President First Lady in Houston, Texas, and they pick us up, and they're full of sweat, and they look adorable, but nothing was coming off. It was very. I could tell it was frustrating and defeating. So anyway, here I was in my early 40s about to get surgery. And I thank God I saw this video of Kerry talking about the pain in his foot. And just hearing some of what, when I met him in Chicago, I was telling him, I'm eating salads out the bag. Why am I gaining weight? Why am I having hip pain? And once I stopped it, made my first trip to Costco, stocked up on some steaks, learned how to cook it, had my sister make them for me first, and I took notes. And that's been my lifestyle ever since. And I'm so grateful. I'm trying to get my family to catch on, but everyone is afraid of LDL numbers and such. So I just
Mm-hmm.
continue my best to be an example.
Yes, absolutely. So, I heard you say that you had exhaustion, you had struggles with your mood, pain in your joints, and then, of course, you said that you were going to be having hip surgery, and this heavy feeling. And how many days have you been on carnivore? Do you have your day count, or are you keeping up by months? Or
I'm telling you, my teaching schedule is pretty, again, no complaints. I'm grateful because I know what it's like to be without. I've been there.
Mhm.
But I would have to say it was in the spring. So maybe March or April. So one day I'm going to sit down, just quiet my mind and figure out what was that magical day that Kerry appeared on the screen and was talking about his toe. And he has so much, what's the word? He's so it's so infectious.
Yes,
His enthusiasm.
I
There we go.
agree. Yeah.
So
Yes, he is.
he's like, you got
I
to do
saw
this
Carrie too. Yeah.
now, right? And so I was
That's
like,
why
yeah,
we're here today, actually, because Carrie was like, you, Robin, need to
right,
start a YouTube channel.
yeah, exactly,
So yes, he's very infectious, and
yeah,
the work that he's doing is absolutely incredible. I saw Carrie climbing the pergola. I
okay.
didn't even see the video where he was talking about his 30-day transformation, which I think is a
Oh, right,
lot of people saw that video. But I
yeah,
saw the video where he was outside climbing a pergola and doing like pull-ups and stuff. And I was
yeah,
like, this dude is crazy.
right. Hey,
But
he was doing it.
it's infectious. It's
Yes,
infectious. And then he's encouraging so many people. He literally reminds me of like Dr. Barry, because Dr.
yeah,
Barry has changed so many people's lives. I think Carrie is kind of like that too. where people are just encouraged and inspired to try it by
Right.
him. He's one of the very loudest voices in the community right now. I'm excited to know him.
Yeah,
Be a part
exactly.
of this great community.
Just praying he continues to have this. I mean, I just saw the
Yes.
recent video of he and his family going on the cruise and how he fought the
Yes.
good fight of staying carnivore. And I'm just, oh man, please keep it up because you're helping so many people. I mean, from bills, I
Yes.
mean, the list goes on and on.
I know.
You know, I was mentioning too with the weight loss and things. I just think back to small moments. There's a music video that I did where I'm covering the song by Dua Lipa called Levitating. And we're in this really cool alley called Graffiti Alley in Baltimore. And I could barely walk. So we quickly got a shot of me walking with 3 of my students behind me, which was a cool shot, but it was a very short shot for a reason. And then often in the video, I'm playing, but I'm sitting down because my hips hurt so badly. I mean, when I think back, and then I just had this tire around my waist, you know, that I couldn't burn off. I even have, since the pandemic, I now have a pretty decent basement gym or workout area.
Mm-hmm.
It was not coming off. I feel so bad that I was fighting, and so many other people right now are still fighting the bulge when it's just a simple slight change in our diet. Well, it's not quite that simple, but a necessary slight change to our diets, you know.
Right. I mean, yeah, I think that's the thing, is that people are afraid to try it.
Yeah.
As you said, you know, they're afraid of the LDL numbers. You know, and I'm excited about the new research that's coming out, and we're starting to hear some things about LDL in itself, but they're afraid because we've all been indoctrinated that we have to eat fruits and vegetables. Just like you were eating salad out of a bag. I did the same thing, you know, eating the salads. I hate lettuce, literally hate lettuce, have hated it all my life, but would force myself to eat it because it's healthy for me.
Right.
You know, and I'm supposed to eat it, slather it in a bunch of, you know, seed oils.
Yep. That's it. That's it.
And force it down, you know, because it's what we are supposed to be eating. So it's just an indoctrination. It's very difficult to overcome.
Right.
Particularly since, so have you talked to any of your doctors or anything about being on a carnivore and meat-based way of eating at all?
You know, I will. I'm sorry, who was our guest speaker in Chicago? Dr. Anthony.
Dr. Tony Hampton.
Thank you, Tony. He and I spoke at length over the phone a few, maybe several weeks ago now, and I'm blanking with my thought. I can't remember. It'll come back to me. But yeah, I was drinking coffee every morning. I was one of those people that would joke that I had a little coffee with my creamer. All that oil. I just can't believe I was doing that to myself. And then Thousand Island Ranch. I mean, you name it. I had a whole shelf in my refrigerator of salad dressing that I was eating once or twice a day. It's just slight change. I was afraid to eat fat on steak.
Yep.
That's some good eating. Now that's you know, it's like, oh my goodness. Just didn't know.
As a matter of fact, I went to the butcher shop and just got a bag of ribeye steak trimmings to cook with my steak to have extra fat.
Yeah.
It's so delicious.
Isn't it? But you know, one day at a time, one person at a time.
Yes.
I hope we get this thing right. And
yeah. I hope so too. Brenda is saying, let's see if I can get Brenda's comment up here. I'm also happy not to eat another salad. I
didn't mind salad. I didn't mind broccoli. Like I felt like, and maybe because it was so mental, I didn't mind celery. Like as soon as I would get off a plane, my family knew I needed to go straight to Kroger or Safeway to just get a nice, fresh, clean bag of celery. Like for some reason, it's still in the back of my mind, like, okay, that was refreshing and it was hydrating, but it was also doing some damage that I just haven't done the research to quite understand. Right. I just know that now I'm not limping.
Yeah, right. Russ is
Hi.
here. Hey, Russ.
Hello, Russ.
Yes, Russ is here. So welcome. So glad to have you here. Russ was just recently talking about the fact that um, he was eating lettuce and tomato every day up until like September or October. And when
Okay.
he stopped eating that, he ended up getting dehydrated. And having to go on a regimen for hydration regimen.
Okay.
So some of those are hydrating, definitely. And I think
Exactly.
Dr. Tony was telling him, he said August, um, that that when you cut that out, then that's all that water that's part of those vegetables and fruits
Right.
that you're no longer getting.
Thank you.
So some of those are very refreshing, you
Yeah.
know.
Yeah. So that lets me know I need to just be drinking water. There you have it.
Plenty of water. Yeah, make sure you're drinking
Mhm.
the water. And he actually went on a hydration regimen, so that's pretty good. I want to say to thank you guys for joining us tonight. If anybody has questions for Delandria, please put those in the chat. Put a Q in front of them, and we'll be happy to answer your questions. So you said you lost 27 pounds, which is
Yeah.
awesome. That's
Fantastic.
really great. Yeah, that's great. And then you've gotten rid of all of that. So do you have any like mental things or any other kinds of things that you want to call out as benefits that you've seen from switching your way of eating?
Um, no, I mean the fact that I'm not as like lethargic. So I teach most days till about 7 o'clock. 2 o'clock, oh my goodness, was a wretched time of the day. I would have this enormous crash. And I got to the point, I remember I used to have this teacher named Mr. August in middle school. And he seemed to be so content with the fact that he was falling asleep while teaching us world history. He was just like, this is what it is. This is what it is. I was I was at that point. It was miserable. How am I going to do this? And now the fact that I don't have to go straight home and climb in the bed, I mean, almost in tears. It was just,
Yeah.
how am I going to do this? And now I don't even feel like I can't even relate to how I felt back then. This was a
Wow.
common life for like the last 2 years, on top of the fact it was hard to get in and out of my car. And I was like, how are older people doing this? How are we talking about living till we're 80, 90, 100 with all this pain? But it was simply a diet change that I had it wasn't even a thought in my mind that, oh, it could be the fact that I eat bread and pasta often.
Mm-hmm.
And I try to actually stay away from like packaged meat as well. I haven't heard a
Yeah.
lot of people on that. I'm sure there's a conversation about it, but I try to get my parents not even to buy their favorite sliced, turkeys and hams and whatnot, because I have a feeling that had a lot to do with my joint pain as well.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah,
Yeah,
just feel
so
clarity of thought is so awesome. Oh my goodness,
it
it's
is.
like, to try to learn something, I think I would maybe have to work on something 15 to 18 hours. And now, oh my goodness, I'm so grateful I just brought that up. I did a concert 2 weeks ago and I did not have time to practice. And I was telling my friends, I have never felt more ill prepared in my life. I'm so disappointed in myself because I was trying to prepare my students for recitals and concerts. I just didn't have the time. So the day of this rehearsal, I had not looked at the music and I read it. I couldn't believe it. And then the concert was the next day, and everyone was going on and on about how well it went. I was like,
That's
this is
awesome.
amazing. This is amazing.
That's fantastic. So for
I'm
those of
telling
you
you.
who are just joining us, Delandria is the Flutin carnivore. She's a flutist. Can you tell us a little bit about that? How did you turn out to be a flutist? A professional
Um,
flutist at that.
so I grew up in Houston, Texas, went to performing arts elementary school, and I started going to private schools until like second grade. My parents put my sister and brother and myself in a fine arts elementary school, and they had us try different instruments and different vocal techniques and whatnot to see what we would land on. And for me, it was instrumental music. So after playing trumpet, trying drums, trying clarinet, I landed on flute, and not by choice. My band director chose or selected it for me because I kept breaking my reeds, which was pretty hilarious because he gave me like a whole box, and like within maybe a day, I was like, okay, I'm done with these. I need some more. They need to last a month. So he put a paper in front of me with a flute on it, and I was so disappointed. I felt like he doesn't believe in me. You know, I can do this thing. And he sent me home with it. And I actually, in my picture book, I tell this story. I went home and I opened the case, and it was shiny, and it was so pretty, and I was instantly in love. And I was 7 at the time. And I just practiced. I don't recall. I remember literally meditating while practicing, just staring at like Cabbage Patch stickers and random dolls around my room while I'm just practicing things. That was my way of life from 7 to maybe 12. And I went through a lot with bullying and such, which I touch upon in my novel, things I went through in middle school. But in high school, I felt like I was kind of coasting. I had found my lane, and I don't remember practicing as much because I guess I was doing most of my playing at school. Doing most of my playing and practicing at school and after school. So there you have it. And so once I got to graduation, so many of my friends were deciding to go to New York and go to DC. And I thought, I'm not going to be a starving musician. I'm going to work for NASA, or I'm going to be somebody's doctor. So I went to Prairie View, majored in mechanical engineering, and I was pre-med for 3.5 years. And mind you, when I was 12, Hubert Law is my favorite flutist of all time. I reached out to the address that was on the record, and I was just asking. You know, I knew he was from Houston. I was like, if you're ever in town for the holidays, could I have a lesson? And I just kept writing that letter. And when I was 15, I finally got a response.
Wow.
And he told me, I was told not to disclose this address. And I went to the address with my baby sister, and it was his mother's home. And I just remember, it's amazing. You can't, I hope everyone could experience what I felt in that moment. Like every kid who maybe looked up to Michael Jordan, to have his son open the door. That's how I felt. He was my Michael Jordan if I were a basketball player, you know. His son opened the door, and I could see him practicing all the way back in the back of the house, like a clear view. And I was thinking, this is what I'm in love with this. But for some reason, I didn't believe in being an artist, because I guess different TV shows will push that narrative of starving artists, starving musicians. So I felt, okay, well, once I become a serious adult, I'm gonna have to put this to the side. And so here I was majoring and giving all my money to tutors. It felt like I was paying every Nigerian student on the campus of Prairie View to help me keep my grades above a C. I did that. I struggled for 2 of the first 3 years of college. First year was fine, but then once I started getting into C programming and organic chemistry, can I get a witness out there? Inorganic, nothing, but organic chemistry and
that's a hard one. Yeah,
it was for me. It was just like, I don't even like this, you know. So then here I am on the path to taking the MCAT and also considering being an anesthesiologist. I'm going to be one or the other. And I went to the Baylor College of Medicine for, I guess, a tour or something. And I just remember getting a glimpse of a cadaver. And to this day, I don't know how I got home. I don't remember. I was like this. I was just feeling woozy. They said, she's going down. You know, I just landed on everyone. And soon after that, it's just funny how the universe has a way of orchestrating things. You know, or God has a way of orchestrating things, because soon after that, my high school sweetheart took me out for my birthday to a Hubert Laws concert. And he was actually opening up for somebody I went to high school with, Jason Moran, who now runs the jazz division at the Kennedy Center. And I was just like, what am I doing with my life? And my boyfriend at the time asked me, would you like to go backstage? It was at the Miller's Outdoor Theater in Houston. The outdoor theater is very nice, beautiful. And I remember there was some type of show going on, a light show, and there were acrobats. I mean, it was just, my senses were on overload. I can't take this music. I can't take this beautiful atmosphere. It's my birthday. It's too much. So my boyfriend asked me, would you like to go backstage and say hi to Hubert and Jason? Because I pretty much grew up with Jason, and Hubert was once my private teacher. And I could not get out of the chair. I just prayed. I said, God, you know how I want to live. I'm going to trust you. And I changed my major that Monday, which was literally my senior year. And I've been on that path ever since. I'm kind of a natural when it comes to like teaching young children and, well, really teaching, period. But I went to the same high school with the likes of Robert Glasper and Beyonce and a lot of, people who had a plan A and no plan Bs, So I knew what it was going to take for me to really go after this music thing. So I asked the head of the music department at Prairie View if I could test out of the first 3 years, because I didn't want to be a career undergraduate student. And he agreed. He laughed for a while first. And then he knew me because I went to high school with his daughter, who was also an artist. She was she is a visual artist. And and so that was it. I've been on the path ever since. And I hope that anyone who's hearing this, hopefully someone who's in college, time goes by so fast. Do what you love. And then hopefully you find a community like this that'll not only will you do what you love, you'll be healthy doing it.
Absolutely. 100%. So, okay. So let's see here. Let's talk a little bit about, family. So you said that you have a son. How old is your son?
He's 7.
Oh my gosh, he's little.
Yeah, it's so fun. We lost his dad back in 2019. So it's just he's my road dog. We play music together, and I have him taking lessons with people other than me because sanity. But he's a treasure. He's a treasure. So we have a lot of fun.
So is your son on a carnivore way of eating or a proper human diet at all?
That's the question. This is why I would tune in often to see how Carrie was handling this in his own family. Not pushing it, like I say, to even now, I'll let him have his Saturday morning waffle. He likes his waffle and his peanut butter. So, he is a little kid, and I'm trying what I do. Especially if I hear him coughing, he already knows. Oh, I'm having steak and eggs this morning, huh, Mom? So if I hear
your medicine.
That's it. There are more vitamins in this than anything I can give you, on the Flintstone bottles. So that is my go-to, and he knows that. If I hear him coughing, or if I hear a rattle, if he tells me he has a sore throat, we're going to get extra sleep, and you're going to eat Mom's way in the morning. And I just try to do that as often as I can during the week. But he respects it, and everyone is constantly saying how great I look in his presence. So he knows that the way Mom eats is a little bit different from everyone else, and that's probably why she's so strong.
That's right. Absolutely. So tell us what a day or week of eating looks like for you then.
So I am content. When people come in the faculty lounge and they smell steak, no one complains. Like, oh, it smells so good in here. I get that all the time. Oh, it smells so good in here. Whether it's me or a group of people, once my food comes out, it smells like heaven to me. So I usually have like 2 thin strips. I always buy ribeye from Costco. I just stock up on it and minimally, I put a little bit of my own little rub on it, a little bit of chicken bouillon and salt and pepper and garlic. And let me see if I'm missing something. A little bit of paprika, if I'm really feeling fancy. Other days, just give me, my little shaker, and I'm good to go. My Redmonds salt, I have 2 of them. I've become a pro at it. I love it. I've stopped buying A1 and Heinz. Don't need that. And I'll usually have 2 or 3 boiled eggs. That's my lunch on any given day. And then at night, I may have just a little more steak. I try to keep my eggs during the early part of the day. And some days, because my days are so full, I'll just have that for lunch. Maybe not 2 slithers of steak, maybe 3. And that's my meal for the day. And I'm so happy that that's all I need. And I don't do coffee anymore. That's big. Well, I don't do
How
daily.
long has it been?
I do like on a Sunday. I'll do, it really feels like a treat when I do it. But now I don't do creamer anymore. I do a little bit of half and half and a little bit of honey. And that's another conversation I want to have with Carrie. I can't remember who he was interviewing, but someone, either he or whoever he was speaking to, kept talking about how it's bee vomit. I was like, that's right. Let me put that in bold letters. Let me let that speak to my my subconscious. It's bee vomit. You don't need this. It's bee vomit. But for now, it's much better than what I was drinking before.
Okay.
So, yeah.
Yeah. I gave up coffee probably I guess in October is when I gave it up. Ooh, yeah. So,
right?
Huh?
It's something. It really is something. It's so comforting to just smell it. I mean, I worked at Starbucks for years in college, so it's just a comforting smell early in the day. I think it was Stephen Colbert I heard say it's the nectar of the gods.
Nectar of the gods. Yeah. I've always been of the opinion that we would have coffee in heaven. We would have coffee in heaven because I really enjoy coffee, actually.
Okay. Right.
I like it, but I gave it up because of my anxiety. I'm trying to see if it's addressing anxiety to get rid of it. So that's why I'm not drinking it right now. So,
but I was and I had my big Yeti, not the small, not the cute little one, and they even have even smaller, cute ones. No, I had my big Yeti, and then I think in the middle of the day when I felt that crash coming, I would go in my colleague's room. He happened to have a Keurig in there, and I was brewing up another one.
Yep.
Nobody would do better, hopefully.
Hopefully, yeah. I mean, we're gonna see. That's been one of the things that's been kind of a stronghold for me.
Okay.
To have that caffeine in the morning. So not having to have it has been really great. But yet I'm not sure that it's actually doing anything for my anxiety yet, but I got to give it some more time.
Right.
So you're eating once or twice a day, it sounds like, pretty much.
I'm sorry, say it again.
You're eating once or twice a day.
That's it. I don't eat before noon. I usually have my lunch between noon and 2 o'clock, and maybe I'll eat when I get home around 7:30.
Yeah.
And I feel just fine. Yeah.
That's good. That is awesome. So, is anybody else in your family trying carnivore? Have tried it yet, or?
Well, my sister's eating more. My sister's eating more meat, and my dad is excited. My dad got sick maybe a month or so ago. He was just feeling under the weather. It was probably a minor case of or a cold or whatever. And so I had a steak brought to the house, and he was like, "Okay, I think I'm going to try to do this," because I was just so convinced that if you just have a nice hearty steak, you're going to feel better, And then my sister, who was once vegan, I won't talk for her, but I can say the others out there. Well, I won't even speak on that because I don't want to make anyone angry. But I'll just say that veganism was not giving her the results that I have right now. And so the fact that she's incorporating more meat, I'm so happy. And she is losing weight. And I just wrapped my arms around her the other day because I'm home for Christmas. And I was just like, I love this. I love this. I love this, because, it's off,
That's awesome. Yeah. So I have had a couple of family members that have been vegan. And ended up having health problems related to their vegan diet and having to incorporate meat back in. I haven't really had an opportunity to talk to them about carnivore because they don't live near me or anything like that. And then I
Okay.
have a grandson that my oldest grandson is vegan, vegetarian. Right now, I think he's vegan. And
Okay.
he's 17. And I'm like, I'm just trying to help him. Like, can you, I'm asking him to do his research. Like,
How is he
do the
feeling?
research.
How is he feeling? I mean, he's young.
Yeah,
So,
he's young. So what I can say is he's very, very thin.
okay.
I noticed that he does have like acne, a lot of acne. I think that would clear up if he went on a carnivore diet. He said, Grandma, I'm not going on a carnivore diet anytime soon. I'm like, okay,
Right.
well, I'm gonna keep talking to you. I
Yeah.
can't help it. I have to talk to him because I think it's not doing the best for his body, particularly at a young age,
Yeah.
to be vegan. And then not really understanding like the required supplementation that you would need to have a healthy vegan diet. So
Right.
that's something that I'm concerned about. So I'm happy that your sister is trying more meat. That's awesome.
Yeah. Yeah, for
Good for
sure. I
her.
think it's awesome.
Good for
Hmm.
her. I don't know if you watch Hanging with the Browns, G and Frederick Brown,
No.
but check them out because G was a vegan.
Okay.
They were both vegan, and Frederick was actually struggling with a lot of bad inflammation to the point where he was kind of on a walker and having a really hard time getting around and stuff. So, but she's now full on carnivore and like they have a really great channel. So check out their channel if you get a
Okay.
chance. I know that you're a busy, busy woman,
You said
so
this is,
I won't
you
add
said
anything
this
else
is
to
Hanging
you.
with the Browns, right? Hanging with the
Hanging
Browns.
with the Browns, yeah. Yes. So you already talked a little bit about your favorite cut, ribeye, and preparation. How do you prepare it?
Yeah. So I mean, I feel like I need to put on my little rub and let it sit for, in the refrigerator for a while. But I'm usually just like Russian. I do feel that it's very easy. So I put on, like I say, I put all my stuff together, I shake it up, and then I just rub it on my meat. Meanwhile, I have my oven preheating at 400, and I have usually 2 skillets going. I put my butter, my butter's going on the low heat, and then I put my steaks once the rub is on. I put them in the skillets, and I let them brown on both sides, anywhere from 2 to 4 minutes, depending on how thick the steaks are. I flip them over, and hi, Arlene, thank you for joining us. And yeah, and then once that I've had them brown on both, I sear them on both sides. I put them in the oven. I keep them in. It depends on the mood that I'm in or the time. I'm comfortable if they've only been in for about 7 or 8 minutes, because it would be nice to have a nice tender steak. Sometimes I let it
Yes.
cook as much as maybe 14 minutes at the most, and then I let it cool for a minute. It's still kind of cooking once you take it out of the oven anyway. And after an hour, bon appetit. I mean, oh,
Okay.
sometimes I try not to eat the whole
Yes.
steak right then because I'm trying to ration it out for the week. But sometimes I'm just, you deserve this. Eat the whole thing.
Just go ahead and eat the steak. You're still
Yeah.
hungry, eat the steak.
Right? There's no guilt. I'm not feeling bloated. Life is good, you know?
Vicky wants to know if she's the only one that cooks her steaks in bacon grease.
Interesting. I will try that because sometimes I'm wondering, what do I do with all this?
Yep. Yeah, I mean,
So,
you can definitely use it for cooking,
right.
And yes, I have fried my steaks in bacon grease, but right now I'm on a tallow kick, a beef tallow kick. So
Okay.
I'm using beef tallow on everything and it makes everything taste so good.
Right.
It's delicious. Yeah. So, but yes, I have used bacon grease and it's actually really good too. So,
Okay.
all right. So we talked about that. Do you have anything that we didn't talk about that you want to talk about?
No, I did. I sent Kerry a text to let him know to please tune in and, help guide this because it's my first one. This is my first time doing one of these. But no, I just, I'm feeling better than ever. I pray and hope that someone else will come to see this, and just before they go under the knife, just make some changes to their diet and live happily ever after, because I was so close. I was looking at the x-rays.
Are you eating any? So exactly what are you? You're just eating meat and eggs. That's it.
Meat and eggs. Let's see. Sometimes, okay, so on the weekend I might do a power bowl where I'll just, crack open some eggs with some ground beef and stir that in, and maybe I'll put in like some little bits of bacon. I'll fry up some bacon. My son loves bacon. Who doesn't like bacon?
Yes,
and I'll put that in the bowl, and that's some good eating. So I feel like when I have a little more time, I don't know. I mean, it doesn't take that long. I don't know why I don't do it more so during the week, but I don't. I kind of treat the power bowl is what I do on my Saturdays with my bacon and my beef. But during the week, I'm just steak,
Yeah. So, okay, so we got a couple questions in here. I'll bring one up. So Felicia wants to know, what is your most surprising benefit?
Clarity of mind. My God. It's just, like I said, I did not get to practice. I performed the Beethoven's Ninth Symphony last semester on piccolo, and I probably practiced 18 hours. There was no way I was going to do it with anything less than that. I actually feel like today I could have cut that time in half just because of the clarity of thought. It's just a shame. It's a shame to be, and I'm working out every day. I'm on my treadmill. I'm counting my steps, and it was not coming off. And I remember I saw this woman a little bit older than me. She was just dressed to the nine, and she was one of the staff members for Baltimore City Schools. And I just thought, oh, she's, I thought to myself, she's probably never had any children. And I just admired her waistline. I was like, oh, I remember when I had a waistline. I looked at her as though she was 20 years younger than me, and like, oh, that's so nice.
That's so nice.
It's a shame. You just don't think have that for yourself.
Right. And I think the thing of it is that, as a lot of us do feel like, and have been thinking, like, this is just, as you said, normal aging. This is part of the aging process, and this is how it's going to be. And actually, it's not. It's not a normal part of it. We just are feeding ourselves all the wrong things that are causing us to be severely inflamed, which is causing all kinds of havoc throughout our bodies. So,
I don't know about you or any of your friends or, any of your older family members, but a lot of them, what their doctors say is gospel. And it is so frustrating. I don't even say who in my family, but if their doctor just has a little bit of negativity to say towards this thing, they're not trying to hear what I'm saying. Even though the weight is coming off, there's these different medications that diabetics are now on to lose weight. It's like, I don't trust that stuff. And I was talking again to Tony about that. Sometimes people's stomach start working in reverse. It's not acting properly. That's dangerous. It sounds dangerous.
It is dangerous. Yep. Absolutely. We got a couple more questions in here. Arlene, I know that you mentioned this already, but can you just talk through it one more time for Arlene?
So sure. I drink 1, maybe 2 bottles of water in the morning. Before noon, I will have had at least 2 bottles of water. And then I have my lunch anywhere between 12 and 2. And that's usually 2 or 3 bits of steak, about that thick. With a nice bit of fat on both sides. Amen. And 2 or 3 boiled eggs. And I have my Redmonds salt, and I just sprinkle a little bit on, and I'm satisfied. And I may eat again around 7:30. I'll have steak for dinner. Maybe I'll scramble a couple of eggs, because at this time I'm at home. I usually boil eggs at the beginning of the week. That's what I have to go with my steak that I'm having at work. And then in the evening, I might scramble a couple of eggs to go with my steak, or I may not. And that's it. And on some days, many days, I won't eat at all for dinner. I'm okay. For some reason, I feel like the act of eating is more habitual.
It is. Yes, it is.
I don't know, like smokers have to do something with their hands. I kind of just feel like I need to chew.
Just need
I'm
to
not
eat something. Yep.
yeah,
I know.
just
Yep.
yeah.
Totally get that.
Mm-hmm.
So Felicia wants to know, what is most difficult for you? I'm assuming about the carnivore way of eating.
Right. So I do love fried chicken and I do
Mm.
love barbecue. So I'm from Texas. I eat the rudder to the tutter, you know. So coming home for the holidays, there's a lot of cooking. There's a lot of food all around me. I'm not a big cook, never have been. So the fact my sister is so excited that I'm in the kitchen doing anything now, you know. I enjoy it. I enjoy cooking my steaks. But yeah, the biggest thing is being around family and wanting to just participate in that social exchange of food, you know. But it wasn't as hard as I thought it was going to be at Thanksgiving. Um, yeah, no, it just wasn't. It just wasn't. Nothing of it really appeals to me. And the whole turkey thing, sorry for those of you who love turkey, it's dry. I'll take my I'll take my steak. I just kind of tucked away in the corner and, and had at it. And Thanksgiving I did fall off. I feel like I'm a 93. That's a good number. I feel like I'm a 93% carnivore. I'll let myself have a coffee from time to time when meeting with a friend. For me, it's like a little hug. I'm working on it. And I'm also working on Diet Pepsi. Oh my goodness. I don't know if anyone has ever talked about diet anything. Diet Coke has never been my jam. But Diet Pepsi, I don't know. That again, and I'm glad it doesn't matter. It's all just the same stuff that, others speak against. For me, it's Diet Pepsi, and I'm doing everything to just not even. I don't even see you there. Is that the Diet Pepsi? I don't even see you there.
Try to ignore it. I know. Yeah, Diet Coke was my thing, and all of the sweet drinks like sweet teas and sweet lemonades and all of those things were the things that I loved, and I drank them every single day, multiple times a day.
Okay.
And so giving all of that up was very, very difficult. It was hard, actually.
Yeah.
So, but doable.
Yeah, one of these days when I can pin Carrie down, because I know we're both very busy. I definitely need a pep talk on that.
You need to talk to Carrie. You need to get on his channel for sure. So, Steak, I love your name. Thank you both for sharing your time with us. Love the information. How do you cook beef fat in the air fryer? I'm always watching. So this question may be for me.
Okay.
So I
do not own the air fryer.
Yeah. I have an air fryer that opens like an oven. The front comes open and it has drawers that, not drawers, but little trays that slide in. So I wrap that bottom tray with foil to catch all the grease that's going to come off the beef fat. And then I just put those frozen chunks of beef fat trimmings off of the ribeye in the air fryer and turn it on and let it cooks on like 370 for I think it cooks for like 10 or 15 minutes. I just let it go, whatever the time is. When I push the start button, it just goes. And when it is done, those are perfectly cooked. So that's how I cook it in the air fryer. And then I let it sit and let all that grease congeal and then take it out. And you could probably use that tallow for something, but I've been tossing it. So just tossing the foil.
So what brand is your air fryer? What brand is it? Because I'm definitely going to try this.
Oh my gosh. I'm gonna have to let you know about that one. My mom gave this air fryer to me. I used to have one that had the basket, but I think it's Chefman or something like that. It might be Chefman. I don't know. I'll let you know. I'll send you a and it'll be down in the description box below.
Okay.
The one that I use. So I have like an Amazon link in the description below, so you guys can find that there. It's delicious and extra fat, is always a plus. Lewis is here.
Hello, Lewis.
Hello from a fellow musician and former vegan who transitioned to the proper human diet. God bless you, Lewis. Thank you for being here. We appreciate you.
Thank you, Louis.
Vicky says, steak. Cook it in a cast iron skillet just like bacon. That's another way that you can do it. I mean, if you want to put it in the oven and put it on broil, you can broil it. Any way you cook the beef fat trimmings, it's going to be delicious.
Hey.
Lashane Blackman says, greetings from Central Texas. Greetings,
Hello.
Lashane. Welcome. We're so happy that you're here. Vicky Stanton says, brisket. Always. Yes. 100%.
Yes. Yes.
And Lashane says, I don't like turkey either. I don't particularly care for turkey, actually, but my daughter made turkey for Thanksgiving that was the absolute best turkey that I've ever had. It was so good.
Yeah.
And her trick was to cook it upside down. So it was delicious and juicy. It was so good.
That works. Have at it, cause it's not my.
Yeah. It's not always my jam. So Felicia says about the artificial sweeteners. Yeah, those artificial sweeteners are challenging. I can say that I had a very hard time giving them up, and felt quite depressed and down in the dumps for quite some time after giving them up. So yeah, it's hard. It's a hard one because if you think about it, we've had sweet taste in our mouth our entire lives.
Right.
So, getting a sweet taste out of your mouth it's not always easy.
Yeah. The Diet Pepsi. I'm working on it.
Yep. So let's see, what else do we have down here? We have some comments. Felicia says, used to love turkey, but I find it's not fat enough. That's true. If I eat turkey, I do have to eat extra fat with it. Okay. So I want to just talk a little bit about your channel. I'm going to bring your channel up and share it, and you can tell us about what you're doing over there. So let me just present that screen for a second. Look at you, girl. Sassy.
Thank you. Yeah, please, guys. I am a musician first, and I've been working. I need to, now that I have a little bit of time off, I'm going to try to see if I can incorporate the Flutin Carnivore in there somehow. And mostly, really, the people I'm trying to minister to first is my family, because they're in pain. There's a lot of inflammation going around. That's it. But yeah, guys like the music. I do have a Christmas album that I love year round called Home for the Holidays. You can find it on Apple Music. So please do enjoy that. And I believe it's on Spotify and these other streaming platforms. But please be sure to follow me at some point. And I'm going to talk to Carrie and others. I know I'm always dependent on Carrie, but I don't have time to talk to anyone else much. So I would like to figure out how I can incorporate that in a way that doesn't that makes sense. So there's kind of streamlined music and just healing humanity. Everybody see me repping my Healing Humanity shirt.
Yes.
Awesome.
Yeah, so let's talk a little bit about that. So we know that Carrie is the inspiration for a lot of us. And yes, I love your shirt. I'm so jealous. I'm going to have to go and get one now for sure. Carrie Mann from Homestead How. If you have not checked out his channel, you definitely should do so. He is the carnivore champion. That's what I call him. Right. The carnivore champion, because he's out here championing this cause. And it's just absolutely amazing to watch. You're seeing him influencing so many people to change their lives for the better. And it's absolutely incredible. So we really do appreciate that.
Absolutely.
So we have another question here. Traditional or self-published?
Musically and literary works are all self-published. I was working with a publisher for my books, but I'm kind of I'm coming to do it on my own as well. So I'm not one of those people that likes the word no. So I just create a lane myself. Being a flutist, especially in the world of jazz, that's always been my MO. I have to do it. It's rare to have a flutist in front. I mean, these days, Andre 3000 has taken over. But hello, Trisha. But yeah, yeah, just create that lane.
So are your books on Amazon? Like, where can we find them?
Please go to my website or Flute World. And as soon as we get off, that's what I'm going to do, because Flute World they've been really, really supportive. There are a lot of flute vendors around the country that have carried my materials, but Flute World has really been the champion this last fall, this fall that we're coming out of, and they have a lot of copies of my book. So I'm just directing people to go there online, and I'll put that link on my website, or you can just go straight to Flute World. I have two. I have a picture book, and it's Discovering the Realm of Sound. Both of the books are entitled Demi's Flute, so it's the first two letters of my first and last name, and the novel is about 192 pages, and it's inspiring all ages. So at least that's what's been told to me. So I pray that
I can't wait to read it. Actually, when I read your bio, I was like, I'm gonna have to get this book, because I love teen fiction books.
Yeah, and like a woman named Amy Porter, she's a flute professor at the University of Michigan, and she runs a podcast called the Porter Flute Podcast, and she and I had a great conversation on her show, and you can check that out to hear a little bit more about what the book was about and how it inspired me and how it's inspiring readers. So that's really wonderful. And I just mentioned Andre 3000. You know, he put out this groundbreaking meditation album recently on flute. So if you like meditation music, I did put out a meditation project called Just Breathe, and I recorded it on 11/11/11.
Wow.
Lost. So Andre 3000 has inspired me to go in the studio and get those other volumes going again. So yeah,
that's awesome.
I
love meditations. I like to go to sleep to the sleep meditations.
Yeah.
So I would love to check it out. Absolutely.
Hopefully on Apple Music as well.
Okay. So you're gonna have to give me all of your links, and we'll go ahead and put all of the links in the description box below this video when it comes out. It'll be out in a couple of hours probably.
Okay.
So
yeah, thank you guys. Thank you so much.
Yeah, I am so thankful that you were able to join me tonight. It was when I saw you come in to the Chicago meetup, I ran up to you. I'm like, oh my God. You're like, oh, who is this crazy lady?
No, I was thinking the people in this room are going to be my instant friends. That's how I felt. I felt like the people in this room, like, it just felt so orchestrated. It felt so divine, you know?
It did.
So I loved it. I felt like it became instant friends. It was fantastic. I hope he does enough. Yeah.
Me too. Yes. I'm sure he's going to do some more. And I'm probably going to try to be like you and just book a flight and go see it wherever it's at. Hopefully, you know, because that was absolutely incredible. And it's been just great getting to know you a little bit better. I really appreciate you coming on the show. And definitely you're a wise woman that's building her house. And I'm loving this, you know, this music thing. So I was listening to your videos and I was working. I was just jamming to the flute music, you know. That was awesome. That was awesome. So we'll make sure that you get your links get out there. Check out Delandria, the flute in Carnivore. So I want to just say to everybody that if you want to be featured on Carnivorous Grandma Speaks, you can do that. So just let me put my email address up here. If you're interested in being on this show, you can. So just email me at robin.heron@hotmail.com, and we can talk about getting you as a guest on the show. We would love to talk to you here. So any last words, Delandria?
Nope, that's it. I just hope everyone has a wonderful holiday season. Ryan, thank you so much for having me. This is my first one, so I really appreciate it. And yeah, I hope some of what I do resonates with you. Please feel free to drop me a line, maybe on my website or even in the comments under this video, and let's stay in touch.
All right. Awesome. Well, everybody, thank you so much for joining us tonight, and we will see you next time. Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas, everyone. Thank you.